back to Shemsuniverse. So today, guys, we're going to discuss the relationship between Sagittarius and Pisces. So these guys are not the most compatible set, just due to a few different factors that I'm going to go over today. To start off with, I'm going to go over the friendship first and move backwards. The friendship is where these guys actually have the strongest component because of their communication skills and their intellect. So I give them about a 75% rating when it comes to their friendship rating there, because they actually can get along quite well because they're both mutable signs. They both love fun. Sagittarius can teach the Pisces to be more outgoing and more like outspoken with their ideas. Pisces is definitely a sign that is a bit shy, and they don't really open up to people, but they're very, very perceptive. So on the other hand, the Pisces person can show the Sagittarius how to be a little more, I would say, more in a way of self-reflective, because they can actually show them how to really like look at themselves, look at their strengths, their weaknesses, why they're actually doing what they're doing, and really give direction to the Sagittarius person's fire. Both of these signs are represented by Jupiter to a certain extent, and because of that, they kind of are very expansive with one another. So in a friendship basis, they actually help each other grow, and it's a very healthy, compatible, and complementary sort of friendship that definitely can last a lifetime. Going over to a business setting, this is where it gets a little bit lower. It's not that recommended by most astrologists, so it gets about a 55% rating across the board when it comes to business. These guys can do anything from in the medical field to humanitarian, sort of like charitable organizations that they can construct together, because they're both very passionate. They're both into helping people. Sagittarius is a very worldly type of person that has a very strong ideology, and Pisces is very much about spirituality and people as a whole as well. So it would make sense if they had something that's going to involve like a large community of people or the world as a whole, where they're trying to save the world or do something for the environment. All of those things would come under the compass of what they can do for a business setting. If they do that, then I would say the rating can go a lot higher. But if they don't do anything in that sort of range, when it comes to like real business, like I would say like anything like accounting, stocks, marketing, advertisements, it would be better if the Pisces person conceptualizes, just like with the Aquarius relation I discussed, and the Sagittarius person who's selling the idea. They're very, very good at that. They're very strong. They have a dominant personality that can definitely build that bridge and make people feel like they can feel assured with them as a people, as a company. So that definitely works very, very well, those two together. Like I said, only if the right sort of business is being put in place. If it's not, then it's going to be a bit faulty. Last but not least, we have the relationship between these two. In a relationship dynamic, it's like it's 50-50. It's 50-50 because it's a mutable sign, both of them. So the Pisces person is definitely a very committed, relationship-oriented sort of zodiac sign. However, the Sagittarius can sometimes not be the most responsible in relationships, and both of them have the sort of commonality to change their minds about things. So even though Pisces is definitely a very loving sign, they can at times just change how they feel and maybe even fall for somebody else. It really depends, especially with their decan, their moon, rising sign, etc. They might change their mind. That's the thing. And this, definitely the Sagittarius person can change their mind, explore other options. So with that being said, they sometimes don't work out for very long. This is a very strong short-term relationship where they have an immediate intimacy, but then in a long-term basis, it actually just simply does not work out in that way, typically. The sexual component between these two is, it's okay. They tend to overthink things. They tend to overanalyze the situation to the point where they lose that sort of zest, and it just doesn't really build like that great of a compatibility or a connection. And because of that, they turn more into just like friends. So that's why I always say the friendship between these two is the strongest. But when you get into like a business or relationship setting is where things start to dwindle down and just get weaker as time progresses. Their communication can be quite good. Of course, both of these guys have a variety of things to talk about. The lack of emotionality that Sagittarius can show and more of a component of lust that they have can annoy the Pisces person. The Pisces person needs a spiritual connection to have a very good sex life with their partner. And Sagittarius can bring forth a lot of passion and lust, but they're not going to bring the sort of energy that the Pisces person is necessarily looking for unless, like I said, they have a different moon and rising sign that can bring forth those sort of attributes. On the other hand, for Sagittarius, the Pisces person might just be a little too soft when it comes to a long-term relationship. If they get in arguments, they might view them as a little bit too sensitive to what they have to say. And over time, they might just feel like they can do better, or they can just move on, or have a variety. If they feel like the Pisces person is naive, they might even feel like they can just play them. And I'm not saying this as relationship advice and saying, hey, if you have this as your partner, they're cheating on you. What I'm saying is this is what's common to happen between these two energies when they intertwine. But aside from that, my only suggestions would be for the Sagittarius person to explore more of their spiritual and emotional side and develop more awareness of like how they're operating within the relationship, what the role is that they're doing, and how they can provide more value. And for the Pisces person, I would recommend, you guys are already very relationship oriented, but to look at it from an, I guess I would say, a objective standpoint, and make sure that your partner is ideal for you, and also make sure that you can deal with that sort of energy around you all the time. You're a mutable sign, so make sure that you can fixate on this and understand that, am I going to be able to take this person seriously, or is this just a momentary pleasure that's probably just going to dwindle? If that's the case, end the relationship. If that's not the case, communicate with the partner. Sagittarius is great at communicating and getting out how they feel. If they feel that they are open to have their dialogue, they will not lie to you. So if you're able to actually just bring to them